need to buy. So you cannot deploy in the market. So one of the strategy, our research strategy in next couple of years will be the low-cost solution for deep learning, especially for the computer vision. The next thing is deep learning without label. So deep learning require a lot of data. Data is nothing. You can go on the internet, download a lot of data. But data with the raw truth, that's the big thing. It costs a lot of money to label it. So Jan Lee Kun, about several years ago, and he have the same thinking with myself as well. We talk in the future, we have to have some algorithms doesn't require the label. Like we have to move to the semi-supervised or unsupervised for deep learning. That should be one of the research direction in the future. The last thing is multi-factor and never end in the learning. So this comes from my observation in the face recognition. What we did, we built an algorithm we call the AI to simulate the capability of the human. Actually, it's not true. What we did with face recognition, we designed the algorithm, right? We have the data, right? And then we take the algorithm, you train the data, and then you use the train model you deploy it and you use it forever. It's not the way humans do, right? Just the baby. Just like the baby. They never learn one time. What they did is they know nothing at first, right? So, but year by year, they make the mistake. They learn from the mistake. They improve their skill. That's the first thing. The second thing is they never learn one factor. They learn many things at the same time. They learn. They never learn just face recognition. They learn the gender. They learn pattern. They learn so many factors. So the future is how we build algorithm can model multi-factor and extract the multi-factor at the same time. Should be the future direction of deep learning and machine learning, especially for computer vision. The last one should be the precognition of forecasting. So right now we have detections. What we do with detection is, like we think, like in this video frame, what you can see here, we have the car driving, and then at the corner, we see something past the street. We human, what we usually do, we forecast the person, right? We put our leg on the brake there, right? And if they really pass the street right away, we brake it. That's how humans do. We do forecasting, not just detection. If we apply forecasting in the future, then the result will become better and safer. So that's one of the direction in computer vision we target in the next couple of years from my study. Finally, I have some work because AI is very challenging and also have a lot of opportunity. So if we really want to make the big thing, we have to go together. If you want to go far, you have to go with the team. That's it. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Mình nghĩ là sẽ có một vài câu hỏi cho cái phần trình bày của anh Khoa. So you can ask several questions to the speaker. I think I have a question. So basically you apply kind of deep Boltzmann machine, right? So it's kind of restricted Boltzmann machine or Boltzmann machine.
That's restricted Boltzmann machine.
Okay, so I got it.
The difference between Boltzmann machine. Yeah. Thank you. The difference between Boltzmann machine and restricted Boltzmann machine just about a binary, and then you can go. That's it. And then we apply multiple layers there, you become deep. That's it. You're welcome.
Hello. Hello, everyone. one question for you, Mr. Kwak. Do you have any project about facial expression recognition?
Yes, we have some project. We do a lot of project in very related application, and expression is one of them. We also do gender, ethnicity, a lot of factor. If you're interested, you can talk to me after the meeting, so I can show you more. Because the limit of the presentation, so I have to filter some topic and just present some.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So my question is for the face aging, how far you can predict the time spent at Sri Lanka is like less than 10 years. So whether you can predict longer than that?
Very good question.
Hello.
Thank you so much. So your question can be answered come from the viewpoint of the data. Sorry? Okay. So his question is how far I can predict the age. 10 years on, can I predict the 60, how they look like, right? That's the question. My answer is it depends on data. So because the way we model is data-driven approach, for sure the nearer the aging group is, the better result should be, and the longer, and it should be more challenging. Huh? Because like I present in some slides, the way we evaluate the phasing will be very different from object detection of face recognition, because we don't have the route truth in the future. Even though you have two images, like we have the image at 5 years on, right? We have another image at 60 years on. But the result, when you generate another image at 60 years on, you cannot use symbol like L2 norm to benchmark it, because it has to base on visualization, a lot of factors. And the only way we can do it, we apply the face recognition algorithm, like I present. Very good question. Thanks.
Okay, one more question and then we'll continue, okay?
We have a panel discussion, so you can ask.
Thank you for your presentation. I have one question for you. Why your research is just one research? Like the input from the multi-factor, I think the output have a set of research, just no one phase for the future of humans. That's my question.
If I really understand your question, is your question is about if we have multi-factor like the input, so the output should be the set of the factor like output, like the set of feature the label, right? That's your question? Yes, the question is yes. But like we do not simply design a separate model to model for the factor input factor. Instead, because the face look like the face, we have the face, like we say, face recognition, right? We just tag it on the subject ID, and we forget a lot of information from the face. For example, the face can give you the gender information, the age information, ethnicity information, expression information. So how we take those factors, or in the terminology we call the factorize those factors out. We just care about the subject ID, and then we factor it out, and we just use the subject information on the feature we train. So we have to have the model, the correlation, and when we really need to do target and one factor, when we factor it out, that's it. We have model relationship.
Yeah, thank you so much, and that was amazing. I think we all have so many questions left. I could see so many applications for your work, so thank you for your dedication. Oh, and flowers. Thank you. So our next speaker is another academic. He is Dr. Minh-Triết Trần, an associate professor and vice president at the University of Science. He received his PhD also at the University of Science in 2009. And his research topics include computer vision, machine learning, virtual reality, and augmented reality. He has authored and co-authored over 90 research papers. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Minh-Triết Trần.
So good morning. This seems to be the last talk in this morning session because before we go into the panel session discussion. So I try to make this one short. And we try to have the discussion just right before the panel discussion. If you want to have any questions, feel free to raise your hand during my presentation. And if I have any question to be answered right then, I try to answer. Otherwise, I try to ask my friends or other experts to help me, to save me, okay? Let me try to play this one. Anyone can save me? Yes, good. Okay, so the talk to be assigned to me to be presented, that is the application of computer vision for smart environments. And some of you guys already attended the similar talk in the TED Talk from VIETAI in November this year. So your question might be, what is the difference between my previous presentation and this one? The first thing is the previous slide have the different layout, right? Looks in here, maybe it is nothing different. In my presentation, there can be multiple images and video clips, but I will not give any specific message in the slide. I would like to discuss with you, and we try to find the message throughout my presentation. So it can be the same material, but we can discuss on different topics. So the first thing, I would like to share with you my passion 10 years ago. When I finished my PhD degree, actually my PhD thesis was in cryptography and block ciphers. Nothing to do with computer vision or machine learning at the time. And then one of my friends, Mr. Steve, he's sitting over there. I try to ask him to follow me, or I follow him to do something crazy. And what we try to do is to make the interactive environment to be smart, so that you can interact with different objects of the computer in a different way, that you love to do that in a fancy way, or similar things like that. And I would like to show the demonstration from Tip and his colleagues, let's say 8 years ago. We just watched the movie from Tom and Jerry, and we see an invisible mouse. So in here, we just say I don't really have any physical mouse. I just use my hand and move around over the surface, and we can easily track where the finger, and we can try to simulate the event in the computer. This is invisible mouse from Dave and his friends in 2010. And we developed the multi-object tracking for augmented reality. But at that time, we don't really use something like Vuforia or similar technology. We do it by ourselves for tracking using the regular machine. It's 8 years ago. The next one, motion capture and facial motion capture, and also vision-based multi-texture surface to be developed by students in the library last year in the university. Just try to do it. We don't really care about this one already developed by other researchers in the world. We just do because the students love to do that and try to do from scratch. And you can see in here for the motion capture, we don't really have something like a very high techniques to be applied then. We just try to get the information from the RGBD in the very first version of Connect version 1. And we link it to different zones. We don't have any information for skeleton. We just apply and move different zones depending on the information captured directly from RGBD at very first version. So that is the beginning. So I would like to share our passion in our research group for smart environment in which people can have better way for interaction, fancy way to interact, and what we need to do, we need to learn. We learn different techniques in order to realize our ideas. So we need to learn anything that is accessible for this one. And today my talk is about live logging data and how we can take advantage of this huge amount of data every day we capture to provide better understanding for our lives and can serve for you for different services and utilities. Okay, so just look into this picture and you can see this one. I've just taken this picture during this event this morning. And you can see different of your friends in here. This one was taken today. And next year when we look back into this picture, maybe you want to recall the memory of the story behind this picture. One of my friends, I'm very lucky to have one of my friends who lived with me in high school, and he is here to attend. And we're to share the photo of our class in high school. Maybe we have a lot of stories or memory related to this picture when we look at this picture. And Hoa, can you recognize your face in this one? During dinner, you invite us when you arrived in Utah, right? Yes, thank you very much. Then, so every picture, every moment in our life has its own story and message. And how can we exploit the insight understanding? This is the main message I want to share, the very first message I want to share in my talk today. So what is the live logging data? Everything you capture, even for the live streaming video we are watching on Facebook right now, it can be the source for exploiting insight understanding of different things. In Vietnam, we usually refer to smart city. Every day you can look everywhere and you can see the word smart city. And we really need smart citizen for three main tasks. The first one, who can exploit smart features, utilities, and services. We have smart service, so we must have smart citizen to utilize those things. The second one, we should contribute the information back into the system to make this one smarter and learn day after day to make the system to be smarter. And the last one, we need experts to develop services and utilities to provide other people to use. So we have multiple sources of information that can be exploited every day. We have public system to collect information. It can be from public surveillance system, cameras, even in a supermarket. But we also have the private or personal systems that we use every day. It can be GoPro that can be mounted on your shoulder or in your head to capture every moment of your life. It can be something like the wearable cameras like this you wear every day to capture the information. We also have many other sources, photos on Facebook, YouTube channel, and text you post or you like on Facebook. Those channels can be exploited to provide insight understanding. So now we move into some of the possible applications that we can use to enhance our lives. So my second message I want to share today, that is I want to share some of the ideas that we can do by analyzing daily activities logs. The first one is we can recognize the current context and retrieve the similar known cases. For example, when you arrived into a new city, maybe you don't really know which the building is, what you can do in this building, and where the museum open, and can you have any room available in the hotel. So you can use a landmark recognition. The traditional way to do this, you can use GPS information, and you just look around to see we are looking at this one, and we can have several services to be provided at this location. However, we can use the augmented reality together with computer vision to recognize with more accurate result at different locations just by looking at the picture. Traditional approach can be using banks of words, visual banks of words, and retrieve the result. Then you can have enhanced version of this one to do, or you can use deep features to enhance the final result. However, this one is still a challenging problem. in CVPR 2018, we also have the Google challenges for landmark recognition and landmark retrieval. That means this problem is still an open and challenging problem if you want to deal with real data set with huge amounts of photos in them. We already listened to Huing's story in this morning that she mentioned that you try to take part in the challenges, something like cargo. This is a very good way for you not only to demonstrate your skills, but also to learn in depth how we can control and manage the algorithms and deal with the practical, real problems. We just built this one. This one, I just put it in this one because I want to show some link with Hua's talk we already listened. Of course, face recognition and face detection is very, very interesting, and it was considered for many years. However, it's very challenging problems because we have different conditions for lighting, illuminations, pose, and different things like that. And of course, with GAN or domain adaptation, we can boost the result, right? We can give the one for short. And the next one, every day when you have dinner or lunch, we usually take photos. Not selfie only, but take photos. I don't really know if you're really concerned about the calorie you consume or about the health. This is a hobby only. But if we can enhance the feature not only by taking the photo, just for fun and posting to Facebook and share and wait for your friends to like, then maybe you can analyze what type of food and is there any ingredient that is allergic to you and the calorie you consume every day. All of the demonstration I show with you today were developed by students. And this is what I want to say. The students, Vietnamese students in Vietnam, they could study and they could develop something fancy like this. But they really need someone to help them to get better knowledge and understanding. So I really hope that all the experts from the US universities and other famous universities in the world will help the Vietnamese student by getting closer to the level of international standards. This is all to demonstrate what the student in here they can do, but they can do more and successfully. For example, you get the name of the Khả family, something like Khả Ái, Khả Nghịch, and I don't remember the last name. I just know their names, the real names, because they are just in the same class of the same university. But now they just use a different nickname like that in this morning to win the very first prize and very high result with the group of VIETAI, right? That is one demonstration of what the student can do. And I want to use this one because Trill is among the very first speaker of VIETAI talk, maybe in July. And he is now in Google Print, and this is his bachelor thesis using regression for counting and visual attention. I just skip this one. We don't really need to deal with this one. The next possible types of application we can do is finding lost items or retrieving and verifying the memories. When we understand the context, we can easily find a moment of interest. I just put my laptop or my smartphone somewhere. I just want to look back into the memory and say, hey, the last time I saw this is about 10 minutes ago, and I can retrieve the location. I just go back into the location and get my object. This is good. Of course, I must have a dedicated wearable device to capture every moment in our life, and we should consider for the battery and energy usage in them. But if it can be realized, this is good. Okay, when I try to retrieve the photo in my smartphone in the dinner with Hua in June, right? In June, I need to scroll down in the album of my cell phone just to search for that. If I can explicitly input my query in some convenient way, I can say I just want to retrieve a photo with this guy in the dinner in somewhere, and we add something like this, and we can automatically retrieve the shortlist of the possible candidates, it should be better. So this is the second type of application I want to share. Live logging data. We can have something like photos. We can also have biometric information, the heart rate, the glucose, the blood pressure, and things like that. And how we can input the information in then if we understand all the context. In our system developed for ICRA 2018, we have the following components. The first one, we have the place recognition to localize this one first. The second one is the action detection. We use the image captioning to get the verb or the action of interest in one photo. And we also have the entity detection for different names of known persons or even for different known objects of known categories. And then we mix all together to provide a system in order to help people to input. However, this is only at the very first step to develop. For example, we can have visual clustering for images to group different photos in the same room or location. Then we try to detect different objects of interest. And we can also, because now we have a huge number of open source systems that you can apply, you don't really need to train from scratch, but you can apply to get different components to be available for you. For example, you can see in here, we can know this photo might be taken in the home theater or coffee shop or fast food restaurant and car interior. The interesting thing is that we don't really need only the prediction result, but we need a way just to persuade ourselves to trust the result. In here you can see the heat map or visualization of activation. In this case, we say, okay, I get this prediction result because I focus on a certain area and get the final prediction result. So not only to get the result, but we should try to explain why it should be trusted. And if you get a wrong conclusion in here, then you need more data to train in order to help the system to be better in the future. This is one way. For example, in this one, we try to find certain event by building a chair that is good in late afternoon and in the office environment and different things like this. Currently, our system cannot understand this one directly. We need human user to process this one and extract main things and use the system to retrieve certain events. We cannot do this in our group right now. We just close this one. And to detect certain events, we might exploit the image captioning. That means we try to get the caption to be generated on the fly from an image. Of course, there can be different levels of details that we can generate. We have general description, we have the very detailed one. And in this case, our system, our method, try to focus on different areas so that we can verify whether this one can be reliable or not. If we don't have enough data, get more and train. The next one. Okay. We usually post photos to Facebook, and we love to see something on this day, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or things like that. However, do you have any questions, something like this? On this place, not on this date. We can retrieve similar scene in the same place. Maybe you can find your friends when you go back into the high school. Not necessary to be at any specific day. We just be there in the location and we retrieve the photos in there. So we can use image retrieval in this case. Or maybe if you are there, maybe you can find your photo in here. I just want to borrow some of the members in VIETAI teachers that is in his bachelor thesis. And he tried to have the automatically annotation by adding the similar text from the given text in one image by finding the similarities. The next one, traffic analysis. Okay, in this one we have the video clips from